Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure to present MachineFi Revolution, which unlocks a multi-trillion dollar economy. So something about myself. My name is Roland Chai. I'm the co-founder of IOTEX. I got into crypto, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, really early when I was doing my PhD on cryptography in University of Waterloo back in 2008, 2009. So after that, I spent like a 6, 7 years at Google plus Uber, basically leading lots of security, privacy, infrastructure related projects and products, which goes very well. In 2017, I co-founded IOTEX with two other co-founders, basically focused on the MachineFi, which is an intersection between blockchain and IoT. Okay, let me jump right into my presentation. So everybody says like how advanced the machine they are as of now, thanks to the technology advance in robotics, AI, and 5G, and many other things. So according to some research, there will be 100 billion machines in 2030, which produce like a 12 trillion values, for the economic growth, and replacing 30% of human jobs. So like it's like kind of fair to say machines are the future workforce for the human being. But more interestingly is like a new machine economy is kind of emerging as the machines becomes more connected and also becomes more intelligent. So that's why like we coin the term MachineFi. Basically, it means it's a new paradigm, meaning like a machines are collaborated in real time without human intervening, deliver resources and intelligence to people in a collective way, and also seeking certain financial incentives to grow themselves, right? So it's a like a new economy just for the machines. With like the MachineFi, so there will be a lot of things that becomes possible. So for example, so if MachineFi becomes a thing, then it will be very easy for like a metaverse or other type of applications sitting in the metaverse to trying to get a mirror of the real world in terms of data, like what happens in the real world, or like like a traffic data coming from the real world can get into the metaverse to have some sort of also traffic jam even in the games, or like a traffic derivatives in the DeFi applications. The same thing applies to like the weather data, earthquake data, right? So lots of things actually happen in the real world can come into the metaverse. So this is one aspect for like what MachineFi can enable. And another one, I think is even more interesting. So MachineFi will allow the applications actually sit in the metaverse to program the things that happen in the real world. For example, uh, by having application like in the metaverse, so like basically you can incentivize machines and people to do certain stuffs, maybe walk to a specific location to do something like a universal basic income, and also even crypto cities, like Vitalik was talking about a lot of, these days about crypto cities. So this is like what MachineFi can actually, enable for for us. But however, so if you look at like how machine works right now, it's basically like powered by centralized entities like cloud computing, or even like a powered by manufacturing like a softwares, right? So this is not the right way to actually to go down the road, because the current engine that cannot power the massive like the machine economy that is upcoming, and also like the status quo leads to monopolize the ownership of the future workforce. So if you think about it, it's kind of scary. If, for example, Tesla owns this autonomous cars for everybody in this world, then it will be very easy if like a big brother wants to, have someone gone. It's just like by pushing a button, he can just do an accident and this guy is gone, right? So it's very scary to think about even that way. So that's why the machines, especially like the economy part of the machines, should not be owned by the centralized entity for sure. So that's a vision of IOTEX. Basically, IOTEX is the fastest growing decentralized network to jumpstart the machine economy and power billions of machines at scale for the people, of course. Um, yeah, the design of actually IOTEX, and especially for the machine economy, is actually around three pillars. which is very interesting. So I want to spend like a little bit of time on this one. So one is called composability, which basically leads to innovation because in the future, if we want to get into the future, then innovation is a must. But usually innovation has a very high upfront cost, meaning like you will have to purchase a lot of devices, deploy like the machine networks, having the developers who knows hardware, some knows software, working everything all together. Then you have like a one sort of machine kind of and plus software. But this is not the way, right? This is not the right way, at least. So the right way is you can break down, like the technology can break down this into smaller pieces and bring like all the developers all together in a very frictionless way. So for example, someone who knows about machine, so they can do something on the machine. Someone owns the machine can contribute to the machine. Someone knows Web3 like a token projects really well, so they can do like a Web3 application. And the composability is about bringing all these people all together and have a new product, iterate on the product, and try different ideas, essentially find the right market fit for one specific application. So that's really important. Definitely, that's also important for IOTEX. So free market is another very good pillar for enable MachineFi. Basically, it enables some very radical designs for the token economics, trying to incentivize people and machine and developer behind, of course, to do certain stuffs and try different kind of combinations, which we saw a lot in the DeFi space already. But eventually, so there are like a few actually can just sprout out of maybe thousands of failure trials. And third one is user as owner. This one is interesting. Usually, like in a centralized platform, like users are treated very well at the very beginning, but when the platform actually grows, reaches a ceiling, it's trying to squeeze the value out of its users, right? Which is kind of unavoidable. But in the Web3 space, also for MachineFi, like users are actually owners. So think about community-owned machine networks, right? Like community-owned, like autonomous cars, who can do like a Uber type of business. So those are actually users are actually the owners of the machine network. When the network grows, users are also getting benefits out of this one. So this aligns the incentives to grow the network in a sustainable way. So those are like the three pillars when we design IOTEX, started in 2017. So this is my favorite diagram to explain to people like what is IOTEX and what do we do. Okay, in the core of this like a giant circle, it's like a IOTEX blockchain. It's a layer one blockchain we built ground up from 2017 to 2019, launched in 2019. So almost like 2 more years in production, processing like 30 million transactions, running by 100 validators. I think the on-chain assets is around like a few billions. So this chain has been like a very successful. So on top of this layer one blockchain, so we're building like a type of different layer two components. So one is like a wallet explorer and SDK. So this allows developers, especially around DeFi, DAO, game, NFT, to actually building protocols and products on top of IOTEX really easy. So this part is we see very strong growth here, like a 25% increase month over month. And another layer two component we have is like a bridge which connects IOTEX to all the other major crypto networks like Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, so on and so forth. So this half, like the bottom half of the circle, is definitely like I think a lot of layer one blockchains have. If you look at the upper half, that's very unique to IOTEX. So that is also like a very exciting part. So one of this layer two component we are working on is called TrueStream. It's an off-chain compute protocol for the machines. So it can actually listen to the machines and understand what the machine is trying to say or trying to prove, and then translate this one into something like a smart contract and can understand. So for example, if you have an autonomous car, driving from location A to location B, so this is something like the smart contract cannot understand directly, but through TrueStream, this becomes possible. So then like a Web3 developer can just write a very simple logic in Solidity says, oh, if this car goes from A to B, just reward this car with like 10 tokens. As stupid as that, but this becomes like possible with TrueStream. Yeah, also this applies to, personal devices, unmanned stores, crypto cities, manufacture, lots of things actually becomes possible in the real world. So this is like how IOTEX look, from like very like a 300 feet of view. If like, looking from like the application or maybe scenarios point of view, I would like to explain this diagram, so which is less techy. So for example, right? So if you have wearables, maybe lots of people have like a Fitbit or maybe other type of wearables. There will be like some token project, like a Web3 developer, have a great idea, says, oh, I'm going to incentivize people to walk, I don't know, 1,000 steps or maybe 10,000 steps every day to be, to keep fit, and also trying to incentivize them to do this thing. So he can just launch a token, just call it Wear. So this Wear token can actually, incentivize people to walk, to drive, to run, or even to just move to earn, right? And also can turn some personal achievement like a data locker into an NFT, and which like basically can access this person's data in a continuous way, and also can grow the community using this token. So this is like a wonderful idea. If more futuristically, so we can talk about autonomous cars, drones, satellites in the same fashion. Basically, like people can buy a car, autonomous cars, and give this car basically to the DAO, who actually run this kind of fleet management, right? Like Uber does. So this car will just pick up customers, deliver items, earn passive income for you while you're asleep. Of course, DAO will help to like split all the profit to all the like car holders here. And also you can collateralize this car to borrow like a crypto assets. So the traffic information that's produced by this car can even be used for some DeFi derivatives. So that's another like a fancy example. So 3D printer is also like my favorite example here, because smart manufacturing is actually coming in the next 5 years or so, which means for now, like the items are actually produced in the factory, delivered to the warehouse, and then delivered to our home, right? So this is like a very kind of waste of resource. But in the future, so there will be multiple like 3D printers actually deployed in a local community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the community. So so people can just purchase like the NFT, from marketplace, deliver this 3D model to the 3D printer, which will actually produce the product, and you just walk there to pick it up. Of course, like the same thing can be also applied to solar panels, scooters, bikes, smart homes, satellites, drones. Lots of things can actually happen under the paradigm of MachineFi. Yeah, so IOTEX is not a new project. So we have been on the market actually almost for 4 years. Very like a simple recap of what we have done in the past. So we were founded in 2017 Q4 with just a white paper, and the next year Q1 we actually kind of built up this blockchain testnet version 1, also token listed on all the major exchanges. And 2019, we launched the mainnet, right? So we actually invited lots of developers to come to IOTEX to start to dev. 2020, we have the first device that goes live on IOTEX, which is a privacy-themed smart home camera that won CES Innovation Award. This one is still kind of on, on Amazon.com right now, deployed to already 10K US families. 2020, also we have our first DEX launch, our like a wallet, Explorer, lots of things, dev tools actually launched in 2020. In 2021, so we have done our cross-chain infrastructure, as well as like we're leading some IoT and blockchain standard group within IEEE and IIC. 2021, we got listed on Coinbase, and that's where kind of we start to really focus on the ecosystem growth. For now, there are around like hundreds of projects around DeFi, GameFi, NFT, and MachineFi actually launched with 900 plus developer kind of building. But this is just a start. We launched MachineFi.com like 2 weeks ago. That's really mean like the next 2 years, IOTEX will be 100% focused on the MachineFi. So concretely, I want to talk about the roadmap here. is so that we do have like a several protocols and products that's going to release in the pipeline. This year, Q4, so we're going to release like the MachineFi portal. That is like a kind of decentralized portal. So machines can register themselves onto. And in 2022, so Q1, so we will release the TrueStream testnet. Basically, it's a layer 2 computing engine for the machines. And also in Q2, so we will release like the machine identity that basically gives like the machines a decentralized identity so they can prove themselves to the blockchain for a lot of things. Q3 and Q4, we will be focused on the MachineFi marketplace. Think about NFT marketplace, right? So we will use like a MachineFi marketplace to really incentivize lots of machines, developers, users to come into here to actually try out different type of ideas, like I mentioned about 3D printer, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, autonomous cars, you name it. And Q3, Q4 next year, we will also be focused on like cross-chain kind of interoperability, meaning like this MachineFi will not be contained to IOTEX, but users on other crypto networks will also be, kind of operate the machines through our cross-chain bridge. So this is a very ambitious roadmap for IOTEX, but definitely like we are 100% confident about what we're doing. So the ecosystem, I think the diagram has been changed in the past 1-2 weeks. Lots of projects get added to this ecosystem diagram. Especially like the MachineFi categories grows bigger right now. So we are seeing some dev teams are doing, kind of drive to earn. Some teams are doing kind of Pokemon Go. I saw this project like a few days ago. Yeah, so which is like a fascinating. Yeah, so I think this is just the start. So we are right on the way. So we are hiring, we're engaging with developers. We are also like grow our community. So if you have any interest in IOTEX, definitely send me an email, roland@iotex.io. So with this, I'm going to conclude this presentation, and thank you, everyone.